UMBC Division of Professional Studies. My focus is going to be on the hidden job market, how to uncover opportunities that no one is posting. And yes, it is true. There are opportunities that we are not aware that are posted on job boards. To tell you a little bit about myself, again, I'm Christine Routzahn. I serve as the director of the Career Center at UMBC, and I've actually been in this field for 30 years, so many years. The reason I share that is because I've been through many labor and workplace changes, everything from the global financial crisis to our kind of movement to hybrid and remote work to now with a big focus on AI, not only in how we're using AI in our job search, but how we're using AI in our work, in our professional work, and also our personal lives. So if you are right now in the job search mode, I always just like to kind of stop and pause and just say that you are not alone. You are part of a network. If you do not have that network, right, you can create that network. I'll go into that a little bit, but also just always remember your strengths during this process and what you have already achieved, because that will also help make you move forward during this time. So today my focus is really going to be on a couple things, which is proactive networking, informational interviews, and also how do you find those unadvertised roles. So I'm excited to get started. I do not see the chat button when I put up the slides, so I'd love to have this more of a conversation. There are not, hundreds of folks that are actually on this webinar. So if you have a question, don't ever hesitate to unmute yourself and ask. And then at the end, I'll also be able to answer questions. But I'm looking forward to getting started, and welcome. So if you actually went online and simply put, what is the hidden job market? To me personally, the hidden job market is really about opportunities that you are not aware of. If you Google it, you will see different figures, everything from 70 to 80% of jobs are never posted. I am still a very big believer and proponent of, yes, you need to apply to jobs also that are posted, but there are opportunities that are still escape you, right? You're unaware of. And those are the roles that are filled by referrals, internal promotions, recruiters, your network. So when you think about the hidden job market, I would just say, think about it as opportunities that you can access through relationships, timing, and also proactive networking. So why does this matter to us, right? Why is this important to really think about, especially in today's market? So when you think about job boards, and when I say job boards, I mean positions that are posted on LinkedIn, Indeed, if you're a student, recent grad, Handshake. So a lot of times, many positions, particularly within big organizations, are flooded with applicants. And I say that, I actually just recently returned from a conference called the National Association of College and Employers. There were 2,000 people in attendance, and my focus there was really to actually attend all the employer sessions. And what they're struggling with right now as employers are, how do we effectively, right, review all the applicants that are coming in? As job seekers, we know now how easy it is to apply to a position. Years ago, I remember stressing with students for 2 hours, right, on the exact words we want to use in a cover letter. To be honest, now with AI, right, you can get a cover letter generated and then switched over in your own words within 5 minutes. So there's more applicants coming through. Even in my own position, I recently posted an internship, and this is an internship, not a full-time role, just to our students within our portal. And in 2 days, I received over 130 applications, right? Resumes and cover letters I requested. So the big kind of takeaway is that just it's important to apply and use portals, but remember also to supplement that. And so when you think about referrals, they are 4 times more likely to be hired, right? Your best chance is, be the person that someone already knows, doing proactive introductions, getting a warm welcome or a connection by someone you know. Those pieces are also very helpful. And then again, ideally is you want to networking, right? Creates lead before roles even exist. And you want to network, not just when you're job searching, but constantly. We are constantly needing to network now to get our name out there. We want to be the person that people know when they're creating positions and when these positions exist. So a little bit about proactive networking. So networking, number one, is not about asking for a job. It is really about building relationships and learning, right? Relationships are sometimes even greater than your resume. It's something, again, that we want to do constantly in our field. And I'm going to highlight just an example of a colleague that actually now is working for the Career Center herself. So I had an individual reach out to me on LinkedIn, and the simple message was, "Hi, Christine. I have a friend in admissions, and they said you would be a great contact to reach out. I noticed that you also, right, worked at the high school, working with high school students and helping them locate internships before you went into working in the college career services. I'm interested in transitioning into your area." And so very simple networking ask at that. And I took that message and I said, absolutely, I'm always happy to talk. And so at that time, we just had a conversation about the role. And to be honest, if you go into my email right now, there's an insights folder, and it's for people that I've had an opportunity to connect with that I thought would be great people within our office or in our area. And when positions open up, I'll actually contact them just to say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that a position is open, right? Feel free to apply if this is the right time or you're interested in, right? So again, when I think about proactive networking, it's for you to kind of have that conversation, right? Value-driven conversations. It's not necessarily asking it about a job, but being the person that people think about when those opportunities exist or potentially could be created. Right now, I get a lot of comments and frustrations where people are like, "Hey, I applied to 100 positions, and I haven't gotten anything yet." And so the question is, that's great, but it's also important to do a couple other elements during this time. So in terms of expanding your network, it's important to do that with intentionality, right? A lot of times when we think about our network, we don't even realize the network that we have, in true honesty. So we underestimate who we know and potentially where opportunities can move. There's a saying like, it's Baltimore, for example, small to more, like a small world. And sometimes that's actually really true. And you can even use AI technology to say, who in my network would you recommend that I reach out to if I'm interested in X role? And you can actually, get some suggestions. But overall, use your alumni platforms, and I'll highlight a couple of them. LinkedIn is probably the number one way that people continue to network, and again, softly, and create some connections. Professional groups and meetups. And then it's really important to just, continue to have that reconnect mindset. I'll give you another example. My brother, he actually about 2 years ago applied for a position at a company called Sparks Post. And he reached out because he noticed as he was researching maybe potential connections that he can connect with because he really felt very strongly about a position. He reached out and noticed that there was someone that was the VP of Human Resources for that company in my list of connections. And he said, "Hey, Christine, do you know this person?" And, the first thing that hit me was like, yes, I know the name. She lives up my street. She's, the mother of a friend of my son's. And so it's interesting, again, that small connection that I had, which then I mentioned to her that he applied, and you better believe he got an interview. And so sometimes just a soft referral will land you to the interview. You still have to prove yourself in that interview, right? And get that position, but it is that connection. So again, don't underestimate the connections that you have. So I'm just going to highlight this page. We are all on LinkedIn. We all use LinkedIn, right? Some of us more actively than others. But if you are part of UMBC or another institution, you could easily go on and just in the search button, write the institution where you belong or are from or finished or started. And then there's the alumni button. And that is a very powerful button because you can see where alumni work, where they live. So if you're moving to the Baltimore area and have no idea, of any connections, it might be a start, or if there's a specific employer that you're applying to, you can look up alumni. But again, this tool is a great resource for you to kind of build those connections as a start. In addition, many institutions like UMBC purchase a platform called People Grove, and then our institutions rebrand it. I know if you're coming, for example, from Towson University, if you studied there, or at College Park, example, Loyola, these are local institutions. They all have People Grove. Again, we have relabeled it Retrievers Connect, but I highly encourage you to look to see if this platform exists within an institution that you attended, because similar to LinkedIn, it will showcase you in alumni in various fields that you can search. You can also search prior clubs and organizations you belong to see if there's a connection. But the difference between LinkedIn and a platform like this is a community that said, yes, I want to be connected. Yes, I want to serve as a flash mentor, meaning I am willing to give advice. I've been in these shoes, and would love and welcome the opportunity to connect. So again, highly recommended. So when you think about messaging, so you are going to have to outreach, right? Some of these are cold messages. Some of these might be messaging to like reconnect with former colleagues that you worked with that went into other organizations that you want to connect and see what opportunities. So again, your messages are never going to be necessarily is about getting a job. That might be your own personal, right, goal. But in your messages, you want them to not sound too generic. It's very popular to say, hey, your profile stood out to me. Can we connect? Right? Very generic. I have no idea why my profile stood out, why we're connecting. So it's really, again, important to think through. And you could use, again, some AI tools to help you. A very easy way to do that is copy someone's entire LinkedIn profile, drop that, for example, in ChatGPT, upload your resume and say, what is a short connection note that I can send to start a conversation, right? But some things that you really want to focus on, again, is not necessarily asking for the job because this is your first thing, but more of developing an intentional conversation. And so what does that look like? It starts with trust and, gaining insight. So things that you can have like once that conversation is set is like, what do you love about your work? What is changing in your field? And then always kind of an action item. Who else would you recommend that I connect with? Because then that continues to grow your network. I'll give another example. I love sharing examples, so I hope you don't mind, but I think it kind of proves a point in terms of the importance of this work. So just this past summer, a colleague asked me to connect with a friend that they went to college. Of course, the university was UMBC because I'm connected to UMBC. But the colleague was a person that was very advanced in their role and work in the IT sector, but was ready to kind of stop that and put that aside, worked at Amazon for many years, and said they really want to do something meaningful, specifically in the career space. And so these are actually the questions that were asked of me. What do you love about your work? What's changing in your field? Because they wanted to transition outside of the business IT sector and into something that I'm doing, which is supporting students, alumni, graduates in their job search process. So that was just an informational call. Then I noticed that he was actually following me a lot on LinkedIn, wrote great thank you, and we've just been kind of chatting. He started volunteering at our university in other ways, sharing his expertise, getting involved in resume reviews, etc. And then right around the new year, saw a position was posted at Johns Hopkins and said, "Hey, Christine, your connection works there. Not only is an alum of UMBC, can you put in a quick referral?" And of course I did. We want to always help each other, right? Particularly if we know the person. And now that individual actually works at Johns Hopkins Career Center in the Life Design Center. So again, you want to stand out in a good way, not necessarily like those shoes on this slide, but you want to always not just have a one done conversation, but stay connected, send a thank you. I've actually just done some recent interviews, and of all the candidates that I interviewed, only one person actually sent a thank you. And to be honest, that is the person that I brought in. So very important to kind of have those, again, that personalized, respectful conversation. Engage with the contact that you had on LinkedIn, and share your knowledge, updates, and wins. And I think that's the real important part is LinkedIn is not just a place where you just put your profile and forget about it. Make it intentionally to like always make sure that you are posting or commenting, following trends, putting comments on different trends. And it's a great way also to know where you can meet up with people. So just yesterday, for example, on LinkedIn, I noticed that the Department of Labor, Maryland Department of Labor, is hosting next week a career fair focused specifically on cyber and IT. So I posted that on I reposted that on the Career Center's LinkedIn page. So again, a great resource. So in terms of finding unadvertised roles, right, this is kind of a fun thing because to be honest, not all roles are actually posted, right? The way like signals to watch are, has there been a lot of leadership changes that perhaps are then creating even more changes and opportunities? Did you just see an announcement by a company that a lot of new funding has come in, right? Or that they are expanding, or that they're building a new headquarters in an area that's close by? You can create Google alerts. You can also follow certain organizations. Again, you can use ChatGPT, for example, if you are interested in working for a small startup or a smaller organization. You can say, basically, can you please identify 10 startups in the Maryland area who recently received Series A funding, which means they just got a big influx of funding, right? So a lot of things that you can really, focus in looking for opportunities. If there has been a lot of people who've left their roles, for example, and there are a lot of openings, you keep on seeing a company posting positions, you might be the person that makes that change for them in a positive way. So reaching out to a lead who you notice who's posting a lot of roles and showing how you can, be that right fit, right, for that role. I'll also comment that happened with regard to the new funding. So, for example, the Career Center, a couple years back, we got an influx of funding for our Maryland Technology Intern Program. And so we were hosting a career fair in the summer. We did that a lot in the past. And at the career fair, an individual walked up to me and said, "Hey, I saw that you're going to be starting the Maryland Technology Internship Program. I'm actually the person for the job." And I was like, wow, I was kind of first taken aback at it, but I was like, you know what, this is the type of person I need, someone who wants to sell this program and get it, lifted. And to be honest, the person applied and was the person that we selected. So again, it's uncovering those opportunities. So another piece I just wanted to highlight is, tailoring your materials for the hidden market. And so what does that mean? And you're all familiar with this, but it's like creating your resume does not have to be static, right? And I think most of you probably know that. It should be tailored for the opportunity. It should also not only be tailored for a position, specific position, but also tailored for the specific event, right? You don't want to come to an event like a career fair or a networking event with your CV in hand that might be 5 pages. We even have, CVs that are 10 pages, right? You want to come something short and smaller. And so when you think about the credentials that you're bringing for a connection or that you share, it's important to remember to reflect on what are the company's values, what are the transferable skills. So if you are, for example, a recent graduate, or if you've been out for a while, it's not just, hey, this was my position, or hey, this was my major. It's what are the skills that you've been able to apply in what experience, and how is those skills and those experiences now relevant to the role that you want to really focus on within that organization. So just really important to, again, tailor your cover letters, your resumes, and your networking materials in general. So LinkedIn, when you start getting involved in LinkedIn, it can also be addictive, to be honest, which is a good thing. You learn a lot through LinkedIn, particularly as your network grows. So some important just highlights is optimize your LinkedIn, especially now. There's really no reason, especially if you are job searching, that you do not have a strong LinkedIn profile. There are so many AI technologies that can give you helpful feedback on how to make your profile even stronger. There are many people who would love to share some insights with you. Make sure you have a strong aspirational headline. Your LinkedIn should be a great, quick summary of your experience, but also the skills that you bring. And again, your LinkedIn should not be static. I can tell you 100%, because we hire fairly routinely, is every time we bring in someone for an interview, particularly if they're a candidate that we want to consider, no matter what, you're always going to look for their LinkedIn profile, and not just at their profile. What did they post? What were the comments that they shared? Right? What were comments that other people shared about them? So very important to be active. It just highlights who you are. So in terms of an action plan, we are all at different places in terms of, setting a plan. Some of you might not be looking for an opportunity right now. Some of you might be in like full job search mode, right? But have another job on top of that. So I throw this up here to just simply share that you have to set something that is realistic for you. And maybe that's, following 5 organizations, or posting at least one comment or one, post on LinkedIn a week. Maybe it's setting up at least one conversation, connecting with an alum or someone in a company, right, that you hope to, or an organization that you hope to work with for an informational interview. But it is important always to set a plan. I've gone to many like professional development sessions, and you'll probably always hear this. If you don't write out your action plan, or like what steps you're going to take, you're never going to do it. And it's not easy, right? I think job posting, submitting your resume is an easy thing, right? You just submit, get some help on your cover letter, get some help on your resume, submit, and you're done, right? But being vulnerable, right, by asking someone to join a network or have a conversation takes a lot more work. And but it's work that will pay off. I'm going to stop for a second because all of a sudden it hit me about one of the events I had yesterday. So last night I was invited to a networking event that it's actually called CodePath. It is an organization that provides courses. They are expanding in the state of Maryland, but they also connect individuals with employers. And I'm very curious about it. And I know that our governor, for example, is very interested in it. So I wanted to see how it can be more effective for our students and our alumni. And it was a networking event with career centers, employers. So I left the office about 4 o'clock. I looked at my GPS. It started raining, and it was 57 minutes away. And so it's something that I could have stopped and been like, I kind of don't want to go 57, an hour drive. And note that I'm an hour in the other direction to get home. So it's a 2-hour drive that I might have to do after. But it's those type of decisions where I said, hey, I'm going to go, right? I am going to move forward and go. And you better believe it. There is important and really great follow-ups that I have. In fact, I have a meeting today at 3 o'clock with a follow-up. So these are a couple other things that you might want to do, again, with regard to your search, but important for uncovering opportunities, being the person that comes to mind when opportunities exist. And just in terms of, we all know the power of AI, whether you are using Gemini, ChatGPT, or other sources, it is use tools in an ethical way, but use tools to support you. We are not competing against AI. AI is going to be part of our job search process. It is now, and it will be in the future. I think AI, for those of you who are entrepreneurs, are going to even be more so embedded in applicant tracking systems to help organizations kind of go through those hundreds of applications. Right now, it's very still keywordish, but they're going to use even stronger AI capabilities in these tracking systems, and you need to use it, right? So it can help you draft networking message. It can help you draft, potential informational interview questions, ask you to summarize the news that's happening, right, in the world, specific around certain industries, give you feedback on your LinkedIn or feedback on your resume. So use it. It's important. Another tool for you. And of course, I have to highlight our team at the UMBC Career Center. For those of you who are alumni, we are always open to working with you. Please know your journey at UMBC never ended when you left UMBC or you graduated. It is continuing. Please connect with us at the Career Center. I'll show a next slide. If you are at another institution or you've finished another institution, please connect there also. Many institutions are opening up doors to alumni. You are an important part of our story, an important part of our success, and we want to make sure you're successful. We are lucky to be in the state of Maryland. For those of you who are living local, it is the state of Maryland has put up a resource for displaced workers. And displaced workers, not just federal workers, it goes well beyond. But there are specific websites that are available, job boards for the state of Maryland, but more so events. They're the ones that I want you to kind of focus on. What events can I attend, from various career fairs to others, to actually kind of get and meet important people to create those connections. In terms of platforms, this presentation was focused on the hidden job market and how to make yourself stand out a little bit more, but platforms are also an important piece of that. And so whether you're using Handshake or LinkedIn, Indeed, still continue to do so. The important thing is how can you, when you apply to the positions, how can then you also make connections at the same time, and maybe for those opportunities that you just applied for. So I'm going to stop and pause. I know I talked a lot. I will also stop sharing the screen so I can actually, you see my face a little bit more. But I'll just end with, again, remember your strengths. Remember all the achievements you've done, because that will also move you ahead. And remember, you probably underestimate the network that you currently have. As a quote that I added on here, opportunities don't happen, you actually create them. And again, I'm hoping that after today, you'll just have one thing that you're going to do to kind of open yourself up to the hidden job market. And when I think of hidden job market, it's just opportunities maybe that you're not even aware of.
Thank you so much, Christine. And as you see on the display there, we have a URL, QR code for an exit survey. The exit survey helps us know what subjects you all want to hear about and what's most helpful to you all in this moment. So please feel free to scan that QR code or take a look in the chat. There's also a URL that you can click. These slides will be sent out along with the recording of today, either by close of business today or tomorrow. So, but I do see you all engaged in the chat. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have, Christine, before we head out. And thank you, Christine, for being here today.
Oh, my pleasure, my absolute pleasure. I'm sorry I couldn't see the chat as I was presenting. So, well, a lot of questions. And I don't know if they were, hold on, hold on. Let's see. Is there a specific UMBC alumni platform? Yes, just Google Retrievers Connect. Oh, I see my colleague is on, Dr. Rowena Winkler. So she actually put it in the link. And she also referenced the LinkedIn page, also the wonderful page that the state of Maryland has placed is also a really good connection. And helpful tips I received so this is a comment. Helpful tips that I received was to read blogs by companies to stay updated. Absolutely, absolutely. Follow the trends, industry news. It is changing every day. I will also share the slides with Rex so he can send them out. I am the only Christine at the UMBC Career Center. Please don't hesitate to reach out. My information is public, either through LinkedIn or directly through email. I would love to chat with you. And can alumni sign up for office hours career coaching directly through Handshake? Absolutely. There is a link that shows Career Center, and you still have access to that. If you have any issues, please call the Career Center at UMBC, and our front desk will set that appointment for you. And I don't see any other questions. So it was a privilege and an honor to connect with all of you today. I hope some of you will take up the offer and also connect with me one-on-one or more personally. And Rex, thank you for your leadership in hosting these series. And we look forward to having all of you join in another conversation, even the one next week. So thank you again.